You know, there's another thing you can do, Audrey, is just go through the balance. Just notice where you're at and just allow the goal to form itself over the class today. And then you can see if a goal presents itself to you at the end as kind of the integration of what we do in the class. Are you good with that? Okay. So I invite you to put your goal into action. So we will, yeah. So think of a movement that you can do that's related to your goal, and then just do that movement and notice how your body feels while you're doing the movement. You can imagine a situation if it's and notice as you imagine the situation, notice how your body responds to that image inside. But if you can actually do it in movement, it's really helpful to help create that a little bit of perturbation around your goal. You might notice your breathing while you do your pre-activity. You might notice tension in your body. You might notice your balance, your ease, any emotions that come up, any thought patterns that come up. Hmm. No, well, my color chart has disappeared. Hmm. I thought about it this morning, and obviously it was my intuition telling me, Dana, you better find your chart, and I ignored it. So, come on, Dana. This is ridiculous. I'm really sorry, I don't know the little box where I normally keep it is gone. Okay. I will share my screen. Here we go. Okay, can you see the 5-element picture there? So this now is in the context of your goal. For your goal, which color stands out? Patsy.
Mine is always blue, and yet again today is blue.
Okay. Marietta.
Yellow stands out.
Okay. Audrey.
I think the blue is standing out.
Okay. And Ruth.
Blue.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. So we do have a predominance of blue, which is the color of the season.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I felt that very strongly this morning. And yellow, the earth element, actually controls water in the control cycle. So as in an earthen dam, the way the Chinese see it, will control water. So who is yellow? Marietta. Okay. So let's start out with the actions. Okay, so let's do it this way. Marietta, how does the earth element, which is about meeting our needs in community, do you feel that that relates to your goal? And your
Yes is my answer.
Okay. So this is one thing now, rather than just doing the colors and balancing the colors, is kind of getting more creative with it. So think of, as we're all going to do the movement for contentment together, does that relate to your goal, the idea of contentment?
That word came to me this morning during breakfast.
All right. Isn't it wonderful how these things just
It is
come
wonderful.
together? So let's all do the movement for contentment. Now, we did do it in our chairs the other day, so you have a choice, everybody. You can do it in your chair.
Right.
And this is the movement. Canadians tend to call it shoveling snow. But if you feel for your goal or your needs, it would be good to get on your feet and do it, supporting yourself on your feet as opposed to your sits bones. So whatever it is that you need to take in to nourish yourself and whatever needs to let go. Now here's another thing. We're in the meridians of kidney and bladder, but also I have a sense of wanting us to not to forget that we can move from our organs, especially as we're in the water element, that kind of more, our body is 70 to 80% water. So tuning into the kind of internal gushy organ movement. And we've got, as our pelvis is making this figure 8, we have our bladder, which can move our pelvis up and around. And then we have our kidneys, which can also move up our torso up and around as we do this. So you might want to focus on the organs doing the movement, initiating the movement as you do this. Okay, and for the yellow element, actually, it's a stomach. So we've also stomach and spleen. So that can also be part of this movement. Okay, so now let's go on to the blue. Water, winter, about trust in our lives, trust in ourselves, might be some other kind of trust, and just and that whole idea of emotions, how we process and deal with emotions. So I'm just inviting the rest of you who are in the blue element to think about how that relates to your goal. So we're going to do first the movement for inner direction. And I think this is maybe going to be more challenge than you want some of these, but adapt as you will. So inner direction, the bladder, we press our feet into the earth and feel that support, and we allow the front of our body to arch like a great bow, lifting our bladder up and forward, if you like, lifting your heart up to the sky, making sure you keep the back of your head long as you inhale, exhale, and come back to vertical. Inhale and create that bow with the front of your body, feeling the extension on the front. Exhale back to vertical. I'm in charge of my life. I empower myself. These are all possible affirmations, and I encourage you to find your own affirmation for your goal. Maybe it's your goal statement. I done as an I statement. I make the choices that are in my best interest. I do what is right for me. Noticing how that resonates in your body. And then we can move on to the movement for kidneys. And this one, I'm gonna do it on the floor first, and then I'll show you an adaptation in the chair. Or just do it, go ahead and do your own. So the first thing is we're going to support ourselves. Let's start by just being with our forehead on the floor and our arms in the double U position. Allow your legs to start with
Really just allow your legs to relax. Big toes close together, but heels can just flop outward. And we're gonna do our hungry lizards. So pressing into the forearms as we inhale and arch up, kind of like inner direction, part of the movement we just did, to kind of prepare ourselves. So pressing into the ground, yielding into the ground to push away from it, coming up, back down. A few more of those. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, down. Now slide your arms around to create kind of a triangle between your your elbows and your hands. Maybe connect your thumbs and index fingers to create a triangle as well. And use your elbows and arms to elevate your torso a bit. So you're looking ahead of yourself, and then turn your head normally to the left, but if that doesn't feel right, turn to the right and start to do little circles with your head, looking toward the left. And then circle your head in the other direction. And now start to pump your legs, alternately lifting alternate feet from the floor. It's a little bit of a, coordination challenge. So I give my whole spirit to life. And again, adapt this affirmation to your goal. And create a completely new or different affirmation. So in a chair, we could do simply the legs. We could just be rolling up our feet to engage. I like to think of doing for the top of our integration metaphor, and then lifting the heart up and forward, because we're giving our whole spirit to life. In the Chinese system, our spirit resides in our chest, in our heart. They think of them as sort of the same thing. And then we can turn our head and do head circles as we pump our legs. Trying both directions. Thinking about our goal. So let's see where we are at this point.
Yeah, let's check the colors. Go away. Okay, there we go. Did you have a comment, Marietta?
For me, it's balanced. Everything is has about the same brightness.
Okay.
But can I ask a question here?
Yes.
So you know when you're on the floor and you're doing that little, like a mini little cobra type of movement,
Mm-hmm.
with the on a chair, I was doing the energizer. Would that be something there, or just the one you showed us?
No, you can, I mean, as in yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course you can do that.
Okay.
All things are possible, and if your intuition is telling you that that's feels good,
Yes.
then that's what you should do.
Okay.
Um, in fact, my friend Lisa uses does the energizer movement
Right.
in doing this as a way of doing the movement for gentle spirit in the chair.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
actually called the sea lion now. But
Okay. Oh, that's
but
lovely. I like that. I like that.
somehow I felt that um for me, I like the feeling of doing the arch, with my
Mm-hmm.
heart and
Mm-hmm.
integration metaphor. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part that really called to me as I was imagining and finding a way to do this. But Lisa actually does it like doing the energizer, leaning forward, and then doing the legs.
Okay. Yeah. So perfect. Thank you, Dana.
Okay, the rest of you. So Patsy's balanced, Audrey's balanced. You're all balanced. Wonderful. Isn't it simple and easy?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that lovely?
Mm-hmm.
Not brain gym. Okay. So, and I'm assuming, Ruth, you want to stay in your chair?
Yeah.
Okay. And Marietta too. So
Absolutely.
there is lots we can do in our chairs. So let's start with some movement. We're going to really work from where we were doing with finding the back body,
Mm-hmm.
form of the back body, the cells migrating down, seeing those come up through the center to create our middle body with all our organs.
Okay.
And then the front body, cells migrating down and coming up in between to create the middle body as well. So we have both the front and the back. So we have both form and flow for structure and movement. So let's rock forward that form from the back body on our rolling forward on our sits bones. Exhale and come up to center. Let's try that again. Exhaling forward, coming back up to center. Now let's take rolling back, not probably very far in this direction, coming back to center, grounding yourself with your feet, pressing the feet into the floor to come back up to center. And now let's go through the wave. Exhale forward. Sorry, inhale forward, exhale, come up. Inhale backwards, exhale to come up. Forward, you can feel your weight going into your feet. Press yourself back to vertical. reaching slightly back, maybe imagining a hand behind your heart, bringing you up to center. And now let's take the same thing to the side. Tilting side, keeping both sits bones on the floor this time. We're not gonna, lift one off. So as we move from side to side, we're using our feet on the floor to keep both sits bones grounded on the chair. So we're not gonna fall off the chair, right? And we're really using our core muscles that way. And now draw your attention again to the back body, giving form. And then the front body, finding that flow, the softness. So we have our structure, but we don't have to hold ourselves together or hold a particular shape. We can be like a bit more like we have the amoeba quality with the front, and we have the bones again. So I just had an image, the difference between vertebrates, we have our bony skeleton, we have our structure on the inside from our bones, not from our skin. Insects have an exoskeleton. They don't have bones, right? They have a hard shell around them. We're not insects. So we can soften our exterior and allow our bones to be our structure. Now let's take that into circling, still, not really lifting our sit bones off the floor, figure eighting, I mean. So tilting forward and then tilting around the side to the back, tilting forward and around the side to the back, forward, around the side. So very gentle massage of our organs. Now I'm going to invite you to think of that idea of a seed center. So like we have two hip bones, sorry, two hip joints. We know our hip joints are here, right? You can find yours just at the crease here. Sitting down, it's easy to find where they are up and down. And then it's halfway in from your side towards your middle center line of your body. Okay, so we're going to circle around one hip joint, and then we're going to circle around the other. And instead of leaning around now, we're going to allow our bellies to slosh around one side and then slosh around the other side. So soft bellies, no holding our tummies in. Really allowing our organs to just be soft and slosh around. And then let's move up to our heart. And now instead of motivating our bellies to do it, we're going to move from our heart around. And again, our heart and our lungs are going to also move around our spine a bit. So don't think of this as a movement of your rib cage. Think of this as a movement of your heart. And maybe you feel your lungs and your kidneys involved as well. So find that softness again, letting go of the exterior, letting go of that external protection, allowing our protective energy to just flow fluidly around us. We don't have to hold. Okay, and now let's bring it up to our third eye. So, the forehead, on the forehead between our two eyes on either side. Imagine that is circling around. Or maybe even your brain is just sloshing around on the inside of your head, skull. Our brain really has a lot of water, the content. I think your brain is 80% water, and the rest is fat. It's cholesterol, good cholesterol.
Mm.
That's why people who did this whole idea that fat is bad for you and you shouldn't eat fat, it's very important. And it's very important for children whose brains are developing. They need good fat.
Good fat.
And now once we can just go to the top of our heads a little bit, find our G20 point. And now let's just circle that spot around the ceiling like we were a searchlight creating figure eights on the ceiling. Okay. And now if you like, maybe you take your knees a little wider, your feet a little wider. And we're going to do some side bending. And as you bend over, I want you to just allow that arm to hang long and circle. And then circle in the other direction, really allowing that shoulder joint to release. And then press your feet into the ground to bring yourself back up to center. So when we do this work on the seated on the chair, we're really not just, seated to make it easier. We really can, I find it even more, I really feel more using my feet. So we're actually gaining strength and stability for standing, but we have to actively use our feet. Yes? So
Yes.
Really notice the weight of your body still going through your feet, even though it's going into the sits bones, but it's also supported by the feet. Yeah? So doing your best to keep both sits bones on the ground through your feet, not through holding in your gut. Again, we have the structure from our back body and the movement from our front body, creating our middle body. Rotating the arm in one direction, feeling that shoulder just release long, almost as if it was detachable. In the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, people's sleeves were usually detachable from their garments. They could combine them on different garments for, changing it up. They just laced them together with like strings. Okay, and then exhale back up to center. Now let's just do that in a movement sequence. So what I want you to do is inhale over, exhale, let go, inhale, expand, see if you can create more stretch,
Wow.
and then exhale, pushing your feet and coming back up to center and feeling the length in the center. So coming up tall. Then you're going to take that over to the other side. Inhale over. We create a bit of a stretch. Exhale, we let go through here. Inhale. Fill up the lungs. Expand the ribs on one side. And then exhale and come back up. Yes, and you can use your hands any way you like. Inhale over. Exhale. If you want to reach your arm up as you inhale. And then exhale, come back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach arm up. Exhale, we'll do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Press into your feet to come back up tall. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, use your feet to come back up. So even like I've had spasms in my back lately and pains that I can't quite figure out where they're coming from. And if I do this and use my feet, it doesn't hurt my back. So if you're feeling any pain or stress in your back from doing these movements, first of all, of course, don't push yourself that far, but use your feet to support you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's actually where our core stability.
Yes.
Okay. Let us do some. Let's do some work with our feet because we haven't done it for a couple of weeks.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So let's start with our toe wiggles. So taking your thumb and your second toe, your big toe and your second toe, maybe twirling them in opposite circles to make lazy eights, and then move on to the next toes and the next toes and the next. And the little toe and the fourth toe. And then from the center, from that kidney point, we're going to stroke out in all directions from that kidney point. And let's give that kidney point a little extra support here. And then if we curve around this way, I learned that that's our urinary system, our the bladder, etc. And then we can move out from the center of the arch, both long ways and across. And the same thing on the heel. And then we can do that thing of taking our fingers around the heel and just pulling out any energy we don't need there. And rubbing under the heel bones or the malleolus on the inside and the outside, which are reflexes for your hips. And then lengthening along the front of the ankle and along the back of the ankle. So you know that when we do lengthening, we're always moving to lengthen whichever tendons or muscles we are going against. Now let's work into our calf muscles. Pressing, if you like, when you're pressing on the back, you can press the heel away. But several of the muscles in our calf and along our shin are powered by the bladder meridian.
Mhm.
So think of loosening up, stimulating those muscles and around the front. Those muscles that do this are actually powered by the bladder meridian. And I sometimes tend to forget, always those gate points are really good too. They help with the coordination for walking. And lastly of all, there's a simple stretch. If you can sit comfortably in this position, is to draw your attention to your back body. Remember, those cells are going to, some of them are going to slide down your back and come up through the center to create our middle body. And we're just going to lean forward at whatever range is comfortable. And when you come to a point where your body says stop, then imagine those cells on the front of your body softening, migrating down, coming up through the middle to form the middle body again. And maybe you find a little more range of movement. Breathing into that stretch. We're stretching our perineus, I believe it is the muscle. No, piriformis. Just breathing into the lengthening of the muscles. And then when you've gone as far as you desire, exhale and roll back onto the top of your sits bones and stack your body back up and change legs. So starting with our toes. Moving down, doing each pair alternately. Now that I've gotten used to doing this, my body tells me in the morning, I want you to wiggle my toes before I put on my socks. And then when you're done there, spreading from the center of the ball of the foot apart in each direction, like all the numbers of a clock, and maybe give your kidney point in there a little extra stimulation. This is also a just holding the points on both feet is a technique used for emotional release, just like our positive points. And then stroking along that curved line from the kidney point to the center of our arch on the medial or inner side for our urinary system. Doing a bit more lengthening in all directions on the arch, then on heel. And then we can take that heel and just pull any unneeded energy tension away. Massaging underneath the malleoli on either side of our ankle. And then lengthening along the Achilles tendon. And along the front of the ankle. And finally doing some massage or the calf stretch. All those calf muscles. I've been told are the strongest muscles in our body. I'm not sure. But they also can store a lot of emotions. And emotions are part of the water element. So it all kind of links together. And we don't want to neglect the front of our shins either. And lastly, your gates. So if you want to stand up, we could use that tilt that we did to bring our head forward and bring us up off our chairs. And I invite you to all have a sip of water and then do your pre-activity, whatever it was for your goal. So whatever movement or imaginative movement. Notice what is the same, what is different. Maybe in your breathing. Maybe in body tension. Maybe in feelings or emotions that you're experiencing. Thought patterns. Notice if the thought patterns going through your head are the same or different. Or are they more or less? And I invite you all, not just Audrey, but everybody, to restate your goal from your body, from the experience right now. So not to try and remember what words you used before, but what comes right now from your body in terms of your goal. So I invite you each to, if you want to share your goal, that's fine, that's lovely. If you don't want to share your goal, there's no pressure to. If you want to keep it private, that's fine. But maybe in that case, share, or in either case, share what was different in your body, in your movement before and after.
So to share the goal first?
Sure.
Yeah, so my goal was to sense my feet working with my brain in an easy movement of walking with confidence.
Lovely.
That was my goal. And what happened was, I certainly felt that I felt much more ease in my feet and everything as we got to the end, but how much more of my whole body, like everything, just felt that ease. So when we did that last revisiting the goal, yeah, like I just thought, oh, it's the whole body.
Great.
Mhm.
Yeah. So into integration of the whole body into the goal,
Yeah.
as opposed to just being your feet and your brain. Because of course,
Yes.
there's a lot in between your feet and your brain. A lot of your
Mhm.
body is in between your feet and your brain.
Mhm.
So one thing I didn't offer you, there was a little bit in terms of time, you know, we have a time thing here, but normally if I was working individually with people, I would invite them to do anything that they know that they think might help integrate the goal. So for example, last week, I think it was, or there's 1 week, we did all the naval radiation patterns.
Mhm.
So maybe thinking about home play. So everybody, this is the next step. The final step of a balance is finding what movements will help to support the goal, because a goal is like a new intention. And we all know we have pattern. When we're changing patterns, the patterns are imprinted really well. So to kind of help that new pattern become the new homeostasis, the new balance, the new pattern, chosen pattern, sometimes it's good to find movements that you can do every day for a while. It could be a week, it could be a month, to support that goal. So you might just think about that, Marietta, yourself, because you know a vast repertoire of brain gyms from the past 4 years.
That's right.
So who else would like to share? Audrey, did you come up with a goal?
I have kind of a funny goal, I guess. I am a person that hardly ever drinks water. And my thing is to try to make a goal where I put more water into my system. And I also need to work on my balance a lot, because I find as I've got older, it's really going. So I want to set aside time and some kind of exercise to do each day for a little bit to work on that. And that's sort of would be my goal.
Okay. Well, that's also an invitation to me to remember that balance is something that we have not worked on for quite a while.
Mm.
So here's something we can, I will include more work for balance, but you might just find, you know, in your memory, some of the things that we've done in the past for working with balance. Ruth.
My goals were unity, harmony, and peace of all of the body.
Great. And did you notice any change at the end?
No,
Okay.
but I think I'm in a lot. I'm in a lot of pain at the moment, so
Right.
It's not,
Right. And some goals are big, really big, and when they're fundamental like that, sometimes we need to decide which sort of slice of the cake, one of my teachers used to say, we're going to balance on at one time rather than try and do the whole cake. So it might be finding one aspect of that at a time, or one little way that it could manifest at a time. And pain, of course, takes an enormous amount of energy, and it takes energy to balance. What we call balance, I'm not talking about the physical balance, but I'm talking the brain gym, what we call process. And that takes energy because you're asking your nervous system to reorganize itself in a new way, to create a new pattern. So, yeah, pain absorbs an enormous amount of energy. Water, one thing. Water is very helpful. Patsy.
Well, the goal that I set for myself is well, I'm just struggling with something, but if I can just be more relaxed in my body and not feel like I'm all tied in a knot, which has helped. Our class this morning has helped me relax. So thank you.
So, from my book that I use in my own balancing, that's about the extraordinary meridians from the Chinese system, there's one quote I love in it, which is that contraction, tension is, I'm just going to go get it so I don't screw up the words, okay?
See you next week, ladies.
Bye, Marietta.
Oh, where's my mind? I had brought the book in. It was just hiding. There. Okay. Tension, it's something of the effect of tension is what we feel we should be, and relaxation is who we really are. That's close to it. Yeah. I'm sure this should be in the room. Stress is contraction. Relaxation is expansion. Stress is who we think we should be. Relaxation is who we truly are.
Very nice. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thanks for putting up with my disorganization this morning. I didn't realize I was so disorganized.
You did just fine. Thanks very much, Dana. Have a great week.
You too, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you.
Bye all. Thanks, Dana.
Bye.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.